How can a parent talk to their child more effectively?
Well, the bottom line is the parent has to put the image in the mind of the child, what they want that child to do. For example, if a kid is leaving a mess of his toys around, you don't say to your kid, clean up the mess that you always leave there. You say to your child, as you're cleaning up the mess, notice how good it feels to have the room organized and clean, so you can play with your other toys easily.
So it's much different than my parents.
Well, that's a perfect example of a negative trigger. Pick up that garbage, you stupid son of a whatever. The kid's going to feel that. And then he's going to feel like, why are they saying this to me? And then what's going to happen is the parent is going to say it over and over. And it's just going to get more ingrained in the child's mind. And that's exactly what you don't want. So instead of saying, pick that up, you stupid whatever, you say, as you're picking up, notice how much more room you have to play with your other toys. Doesn't it feel great to have more room?
Yeah, what about those triggers? Parents say, can't you get anything right?
Right, and the answer is going to be no. Because look, the bottom line is this, is a child's belief system about themselves, most of the time, comes from the parents. So if the parent sees them as a winner or a loser, they're going to feel that. So if you ask your child questions, the child is going to feel that they're already wrong. If you look at, ironically, if you look at a lot of highly successful people, they're usually the most insecure, and they're trying to overcompensate for the way they feel. The child has to feel safe and secure and still logically want to progress as a person as well.
Yeah. Now, in a classroom setting, you have, I think in the school system now that you're working in, it's 50 people in each class, right? At least
correct.
50 people.
Yeah.
And you deal with almost 5 classes a day.
Yeah, and I'm dealing with every type of child. And what I have to do is create my teaching and my lesson plans to accommodate all those children all at once. So using these type of techniques, I'm able to get them all motivated and to learn easily.
So that's much different, because most parents have enough difficulty just dealing with one child.
But the great thing that I learned was, because I have experience with literally thousands and thousands of kids, is there's certain techniques that work across the board with every kid. And that's the bottom line. And so when people come into the Hypnosis Center, I use those techniques on the children here, and I always get results.
What might you do if kids are coming into a classroom, just a normal day at school, and you just want them to sit down and open their books without causing disruptions, without talking, without wasting the class?
Well, what I say is something simple. If I know that kid's going to come in, and in the past with other teachers might have a problem, I might greet them up at the door and say, I know that you're going to sit down and do the right thing because you're going to learn and pass your test. So what does that give the child? It gives the child the idea that, one is, I'm going to be there for you to help, and I will be there to support you, as opposed to the kid coming in, playing around, and the teacher saying, you always act like this, I'm going to call your parent. And what he's going to get? You're going to get the parent who probably doesn't care anyway, or doesn't know how to care the right way for their child. So you have to get the kids on some positive track. So you minimize or reduce or wash away any negativity before it even starts. And when you get the kid to believe in you, that you believe in him, that's the best. I'll give you an example. There was this kid who failed every test, right? Every test. So I said to the kid, I said, you know what? I said, I did believe in the kid. I said, I believe that you can pass this final, and if you pass the final, I'll pass you for the year. And he just, at the bottom line was, he didn't believe in himself at that point, but he wanted someone who cared about him, because everyone else in his life told him he was stupid and he was dumb. And he got a 90 on the test, and he passed. And it wasn't about passing the test. It was about him believing in himself. But why did he believe in himself? Because I believed in him.
What about the kid who comes and he's confrontational?
Well, what I do is, kids want to know that you're there for them. That's the bottom line. Do you care about them? And kids will push, and you set the standards and the boundaries of what the deal is in the classroom. A lot of these kids come from the street. They have no parents, or maybe they come from a foster home. But the bottom line is, kids want to be loved. I don't care how tough you are, how gangster you are. Kids want to be loved at the end of the day. It's just a human emotion that people want. Well, what happens is, if somebody hits you, say a teacher, nun, or a teacher in the school, you're going to associate that teacher with negativity because they hit you. So it's harder to focus on what that teacher is saying if you're used to getting a beating. So that's not the right way to go. The right way to go is to simply know that you're going to care for that child, and you have to learn about that child. Take the time to learn about that child and focus on things that child needs. It's very similar to a hypnosis session. People come in, I take a bunch of personal information, I throw it back to their subconscious mind. But in a teaching situation, what I would do is get to know that child, and then I would work some techniques according to knowing that child. So whether it's a classroom or here at the New York Hypnosis Center, I'm going to get the same results either way.
What's one tip we can give to parents today?
The bottom line is, so instead of saying to your kid, you don't listen, I told you 20,000 times you don't listen, what are you, stupid? You say, because you're a good listener, you're going to see how easy it is to follow my directions. And then you can add something else on, like, because you're a great listener, maybe we'll go out and get a treat. Maybe we'll get something you want. So now the child, one, has the positive image in their mind, if they're listening, which you want to get them to do. And the second is the associate, well, I'm going to get something good with it. So it's a win-win situation.
This would be an excellent class structure for parents.
Well, the funny thing is this, is parenting is the single most important thing most people are going to do in their lives if they choose to go down the parenting route. Or even people just being caregivers or caretakers, take care of people. And most people don't learn simple techniques. People go to school for years to learn stuff they don't even use. But when it comes to children, it's disregarded. Most people learn being a parent from their own parents, for better or worse. So, most people won't step out of that cycle to stop and say, hey, what did my parents do wrong?
And if you're in the New York area, my name is Professor Petroselli. Stop in and have a session with Brian. The results for your children, your children's welfare, their upbringing, their future depends upon you and your actions today. Make the choice that's right for you and your children. Thank you for listening.